Hiya folks, Fuzzfinger here, welcome back to Star Ocean 4, and today we're going to be making our way over to a new area called the Celestial Ship. But before we do that, and hopefully you've been following along so that you've got everything you need to unlock that area as far as the story is concerned, at the end of the last episode, before we continue on with that, I did tell you to make sure that you do all of the quest deliveries in between episodes, and we did go ahead and invent a load of recipes, and I explained where you can get crafting parts, etc, etc. The one recipe I did struggle to invent, I'm just going to speak to the old man here, was this for the Oyakodon. And I did actually struggle to invent this recipe. I was trying all the different combinations of 3 characters. But in the end, it turns out you actually just need to use Raimi and Limmel. If you use just the 2 of them, then you'll be able to invent the Oyakodon quite simply. And then you can go ahead and create the 2 that you need. You'll no doubt have all the ingredients for it. It's also a good recipe to make for the field, especially if you're farming for experience. As you can see, you get 20% experience for 3 battles once you've used it. But we're going to go now and hand in the item itself, or the 2 items. And I've done all of the orders now. You don't have to complete the orders for Woodley Village at the moment, but you do need to make sure, if you're going for a completionist on Star Ocean 4, you do need to make sure you've completed all of the deliveries at this particular point in the game for Trion, the area, the village that we're in right now, because you do actually lose the opportunity to do so after we've finished in the next area. So I would advise, even if you're not sure whether you want to go for 100% on this game or not, it's a lot of effort, by the way, to do so. But just to be on the safe side, I do recommend just going ahead and completing all of the deliveries in Trion before actually proceeding on from here. Once you're absolutely sure that you've done everything you want to do in the village, and it's probably a good idea to rest up as well before we leave, we're going to want to start by heading over the bridge to the north. So pretty much the same way that we went to the Citadel. And instead of actually going into the Citadel itself, we're going to head over through the eastern path that we previously couldn't access the next area, or we could go into it, I think, but couldn't actually do anything in there. Maybe just a few feet in or something. But now we can access it completely. So that's going to take us to Wind Swallow Valley. So I'll just see where we are on the map. Okay, so the Citadel, as you can see, is up to the northwest. We want to head over to the east here. And you can't sprint on this ice field, so don't bother trying to do so. You just get stuck in one place if you try. And now that we've got the... Is it the firing? Yeah, the firing. That's the one that's going to allow us to proceed. So yeah, we couldn't get into the valley before this point. And we have used the firing to open a couple of chests as well. So that's why we're down to 18 out of 20 charges. Remember, you can speak to the NPC in the village to recharge your firing for a cost of 900 fol, I believe it is, off the top of my head. And look at that. We are through. Well, sort of. Yeah, we do have to use a couple of charges of the firing, but that shouldn't be a problem. So there are a couple of chests to grab in this area, but there's not a whole lot of exploring that we need to do here. I think we can just use the firing here for a chest, yep. There's also a mining point, which we still can't access. The Aqua Robe. That's only available, by the way, in the International Edition of the game. So if you're playing the remastered version on PS4 or PC, then you are playing the International version. But if you're playing the Xbox 360 version of Star Ocean 4, then you may very well not be playing the International version, in which case there's quite a few differences between that version and this version. So just bear that in mind. I have mentioned it before, but it is worth often repeating. And here we are at the Celestial Ship. So, obviously, we're going to take this opportunity to save. And once we're ready, we're just going to continue to follow the path on the map. And yes, there is another chest, so we'll go ahead and pick that up. But a cutscene first. Some of the enemies here, the flying ones, can be a bit annoying. They do like to break your bonus board more than anything as well, so just be careful of that, especially when they go into rush mode. Right, so that was blackberries. There we go, it's better. Where's my map gone? There it is. And we're just going to head back and around here. And we'll find our way into the celestial ship south. And as you can see, there's going to be this ice on the floor again, so just be careful about that. It can be a bit annoying when you're trying to avoid enemy encounters. So the way this dungeon works then, it's quite an interesting one. As you go around, you'll see there's these flashing terminals here, such as this. And what these do is contain plastic explosives. And we want to make sure we get all the plastic explosives, because we need the plastic explosives to make our way around the dungeon by blasting open doors that are sealed shut. And we're going to see that in just a moment. So just pick up all the plastic explosives, and if you want to get all the treasures, there's just enough plastic explosives to see you on your way. Though if you get lost or run out or whatever the case may be because you've done something wrong, then you can actually reset the position of the plastic explosives by heading back out of the dungeon and back in again. But for now we're going to go over to this door here, which would normally be locked, but we can place a plastic explosive on the door. And what we need to do now, because it won't automatically open, is we need to use the firing. And once we've used the firing, we need to go to a safe distance. If we don't go to a safe distance, then our entire party is going to take a substantial chunk of health damage. So just bear that in mind. But some doors, you don't need to use the firing if they've got electric going around them. In that case, plant the explosive and just run immediately. So there is another shiny in here for us to get. From where your map is, it's actually going to be the top western console. There it is. And so we're going to head across to the west again. And into the next area where there's another plastic explosive and a chest for us. The chest will just contain some healing items, but it's important to grab those. And then down the bottom here is the next plastic explosive. And at this point we're going to head north. This is one of the doors I was telling you about with the electricity. So once you've planted it, move immediately. There we go. And we can continue to head into the main hub of the spaceship now. I'm just going to kill a few of the enemies around here. From the south of this room, then we're going to start by heading up the west side. And into the far top room, there's a chest we can use our firing on. And this has a nice item in it, so you do want to get this one. It contains the skill manual health or hit point boost. So you can give this to any of your characters, and by leveling it up, you're going to boost the amount of health that that character has a substantial amount. So there's actually a good argument that could be made for all the different characters, really, as to who to give this one to. Now, it's going to make the most sense, in my opinion, to give it to Edge, because he's probably going to be your main frontline fighter. But then you could also think about characters such as Limel, who's going to have lower defences naturally anyway, and having that extra health boost could be a big problem when you do have to face unavoidable damage. But obviously, you know, I can't make that choice for you. I don't think you can really say there's a wrong decision, unless it, you know, the person you give it to is really not going to be used all that much in your setup. Then by all means, you know, don't do that. But yeah, that's a good item that you do want to get, to make sure you do. And then over on the east hand side, we've got 3 passageways, and we're going to start by heading down the lower, actually. The middle one we'll come back to in a moment or two, but for now just go down the lower passage. And the reason for this is there's actually another set of explosives that we can get. So we will have to use an explosive in order to get 2 explosives. So obviously we're getting a net gain of 1. Move away from the explosion. And looks like we're going to have to kill some enemies here. Right, in we go. And there is 2, as I said. Okay, one on this side. So there's one, and then I can see the other one just up here. And now we're going to make our way back up to the trio of exits. And this time we're going to take the middle path, again optional. However, what we are going to be able to do is get another chest. This is a chest that is out in the wild, but it's the only way to access it is from this door here. There we go. All the enemies will reset, of course, as we make our way back around. And there it is. So once again, we're going to have to use a charge of our firing. I think we'll be recharging this thing before too long. And we get a Blizzard Protector, which is a decent piece of armour for Raimi. So I'm going to go ahead and just throw that on immediately, to tell you the truth. So some good defences there. And then we can make our way back into the ship. And back out to the junction. So okay, just need to kill a few enemies, I think. So the only other exit we haven't yet explored is the Electrified Exit. So just be careful not to run into the electric. As you can see, you do take a nasty amount of damage. Well, actually, not really that much, but I don't know whether that's a fixed amount or percentage amount. It must be fixed, because I've got quite a lot of health, generally, so... this will take us to the command areas of the ship, which is actually up on the next floor. And once again, there's a couple of items that we're going to be interested in nabbing while we're here. Up on the eastern side then, we can make our way into the next area. Kind of a secret area, since there's a chest we can grab. There's actually two chests, but we can only get one for the time being, unfortunately. But there's also... yeah, that's the one we can't get. Some means of replenishing our explosive devices, our plastics explosives from the one we just used. Can we avoid the battle for now? Yes, there will be an opportunity to do some grinding as well, since there is a recovery sphere coming up a little bit later. So you get the Cardianan sword, which is a decent sword for Edge, although not as good as his flame sword for this area. But since I'm not using the flame sword, I only created one and handed it in as part of a quest. I am going to go ahead and equip it. And where's that explosive? It should be around here. A nice flashy thing. I think it's around the centre, actually. There it is, I can see it. It's actually just closer to the end. There it is. If I can get it. Yeah. Okay, so I'm not going to bother blasting the door open on the other side. Although you can do. There is actually... just run away from this guy. Reason to do so in blasting the doors that you don't need to. Because you do get the skill points, the party skill points. And you can also see the recovery sphere there. Let's see if I can get an ambush going. I do like to try and score ambushes where possible so that I can get some nice green tiles on the bonus board. And just up here... actually, before we go over there, let's go this way. There's a chest we can grab on the other side here. Along with another plastic explosive. And now we're going to head north, where there's yet another chest we can grab. So this is one of those doors where we do need to just run away before using the firing. Otherwise we're going to get an explosion in the face. And try and avoid that electric there. And just over here at the end... skill manual critical hit. Now you can give this to either Edge or Raimi, but since Edge is probably going to be your mainline fighter, he's going to have not many... well, he's going to have too many options as it is, I should say, in terms of the battle skills you want him to have. So I recommend giving this one to Raimi, and she'll put that to good use. So we'll just avoid that. And we get a lovely save sphere. Once you've saved, you're going to want to head over to the pink explanation here, which is going to just give a bit of a cutscene and will hopefully give us some insights to what's going on in this place.
This is awful.
What could have happened here?
It's like a monster's den in here. The crewmen are probably all... Well, at least it wasn't the Aquila.
Download complete.
Good work, Phase? Are you alright?
You don't look so good.
Did you eat something funny? You shouldn't eat stuff off the ground, Kay?
I'm going to display everything the security cameras recorded here, beginning to end.
Who are they?
They're Cardionon. They're the crew of this ship. Inhabitants of the 8th planet of the Arcturus system, Cardionon. Aliens, if you will. I've never seen one either.
That must be the bridge?
Here we go.
Good God.
The recording stops here. The bridge was destroyed, and the ship crashed immediately after.
I see.
What's it mean?
What happened? What happened here? Tell me, Edge!
Exactly what you saw. The Cardionon mutated into those lizard creatures and tore each other apart. Now they're rampaging all over this planet.
So it seems. This is a grave situation.
What are we going to do, Edge?
Isn't it obvious? We're going to find the source of the disease. That's what we came here for, isn't it?
Yeah. And we've got to save all of your people, right, Lim?
Yeah, then it's settled. Let's keep on moving, people.
There we go. After the end of the cutscene, we get the Cardionon data disk, and more importantly, we're going to actually get the code to open the door near the save point. So after that cutscene, we're going to examine the door, and lo and behold, we can actually make our way in. But be warned, once you do go in, you're going to get an enemy ambush. And I believe there's a couple of battles here, although I am going off memory there. Yes, so there's a couple of ambushes here that we need to take care of. I think there's 3 fights actually in total. So fortunately we do actually build up our bonus board from this. So it's a great opportunity, once we've got through this fight, to go ahead and use the recovery sphere and start farming some skill points. But obviously that's entirely up to you. But with those new skill manuals we've been finding, such as HP boost and critical strike boost, then you could probably make worse decisions, in all honesty. So I'm just keeping Lim well out of danger here. Since we do need to use that recovery sphere, we're pretty much completely out of MP. Limmel's symbiology attacks are very, very powerful, but her normal, non-skill attacks are basically useless.
I'm so glad everyone's safe. Maybe now I can be of some help to everyone.
Now that's what I'm talking about!
By the way, don't forget, I have mentioned before, but it does bear worth repeating. If you start levelling up your beats to 20, then make sure you change the beat that you're levelling on those characters, or they won't be levelling up their other beats at all until you do so. Right, and the recovery sphere is... Actually, before we do that, let's just go and grab the last chest, which is in this area. Watch out for the electric. Oh, we can't get that one yet. It's an ivy one. So we're going to go through to the other side. There's the recovery sphere. There's also a piece of data we can collect.
They should have more respect for us.
I was just getting warmed up. Bring 'em on.
Oh, my mistake, guys. Sorry, somehow forgot to hit the record button when I did this bit. But we've got the recovery sphere there, and we've got a chest over here containing some blackberries. And just over by this chair, there is some spaceship data. So with the recovery sphere and the save sphere literally right next to each other, this is going to provide a fantastic opportunity to do a little bit of farming. Sadly, you can't respawn that ambush by heading in and out of this area. But you can, obviously, go around the other areas and get some ambushes in order to get a load of green tiles. You do want to build up as many green tiles as you can when you're farming, especially early on in the game. Skill points are utterly invaluable, even more so than experience. But anyway, folks, that's what I'm going to be doing off camera. So thanks for stopping by today. I hope you've enjoyed watching, and I'll see you soon for more Star Ocean 4. We've got a boss battle coming up in the next episode, so look forward to that. Take care.